Admiral, good morning, and thank you for joining us here today at Naval Base Kitsap Bremerton, here in the Great Pacific Northwest.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Yes, sir. During the last conversation with the shipmate in Hawaii, you mentioned several different topics, one of them being sexual assault, a big problem for you in our Navy right now. And you've mentioned more than once, as of late, that sexual assault is the topic of our time. So can you tell us, sir, what are you focusing on right now in order to eradicate sexual assault in our Navy?
It is the challenge of our times. It is definitely a challenge of our times. It's a safety issue and it's a readiness issue. And we have a four-prong approach, really. It's about preventing it. It's about taking care of the victims, victim advocacy. It's about investigating and prosecuting, and it's about accountability, making sure that people know they'll be held accountable, and making those who are victims understand people are held accountable.
So what's new? Sir, what are we doing now that we haven't done in the past?
Well, the multi-pronged focus, the continuation, to understand that this is a safety issue. Our folks deserve a safe environment to work in and to thrive. Our folks should be thinking about thriving, not surviving. That's what's different about this, and we're in this for the long haul.
You've mentioned on occasion that this is a safety issue. What did you mean by that?
Well, our folks everybody deserves a safe environment to work in, to advance, to be able to live in barracks, to be able to live shipboard, and think about what they're going to do to advance themselves, to get to the mission. Not wonder if they will be assaulted. We can't have that. No institution can have that and be successful.
The director for the 21st Century Sailor Office, Admiral Sean Buck, recently said that reporting numbers are going up. What is your view?
Reporting numbers are going up. My view is that's a good thing. This is the most underreported crime in the United States, and I emphasize crime. So this is a big deal, and that is good. My view is we should expect them to go up. My view is people have to come forward. They have to intervene. They have to report when this happens so we can get our arms around it and take the action we need to.
Many sailors are saying that they just don't want to tell on their shipmates. What do you think about that?
I don't like that. I think that's wrong. I think this is a crime. It's not about telling on your shipmates. It's about reporting an unsafe condition, something that is degrading our readiness, and it is ensuring that we can do something about this. So folks have to come forward. It's not about telling on anybody. It's about solving perhaps the biggest readiness issue we have in the Navy.
Why aren't more male sailors coming forward to share their stories of assault?
I think I can understand that as a cultural issue, but the fact of the matter is we need to solve this. We need everybody to come forward. The fact of the matter is we, in the past, say 2-3 years ago, we might have had about 7% of our sexual assaults were male on male, if you will. Hey, that's up around 10 or 11%. So it is a fact. It is a reality. We need to face that reality and come forward and help those that report. Make sure we've got that advocacy, male or female.
Sir, do we think about ship makeup with regard to gender before sending a female sailor to the ship?
We do, and we actually have a nice hierarchy by plan for mentorship, for leadership in our female, if you will, population shipboard. But we need to watch that. If you take a relatively small unit, a relatively small change, in leadership and in female leadership, can put you in a situation where you don't have those mentors aboard. So we have to be very vigilant on this. And sometimes we, due to unplanned losses or something occurs, we lose that. We have to rectify it.
Okay. And can you tell us what outside influencers are leading to increased sexual assaults, and how do we change them?
Well, I don't know that we have increased sexual assaults. I know for sure we have underreported. But the influencers, I'd say, are into two kind of clear categories. One, the willingness to behave differently, and that usually tends alcohol. Somebody ingests alcohol, they get too much, they either use it as a weapon to make a potential victim not understand what's going to take place, or it tends to make the perpetrator, the potential perpetrator, be someone that they aren't normally. The other one would be the environment. If you have an environment that tends to degrade someone just due to gender, that's an environment that a potential perpetrator could thrive in. So two areas, the environment has to be right, and we got to get out of this alcohol piece where we have people ingesting too much and doing things that they wouldn't normally do.
Now, Congress had introduced legislation to pull sexual assault cases outside the military chain of command, though as of late, we haven't really heard much more. So can you tell us, sir, how would allowing sexual assault cases to be handled outside the chain of command affect our leaders' ability to command?
Yeah. Well, there are a lot of amendments that the Congress has looked at, and many of them are very, very helpful. They help victim advocacy, they help us with prosecutors, they help us with accountability. They've been very helpful, and I look forward to many of those being implemented. The question about taking, if you will, out of the chain of command, the prosecution, is a difficult one. And what I mean by that is, some of these cases are quite difficult. There's not enough evidence, and it tends to get what some call the proverbial he said, she said. So how do you reconcile that? If those kind of cases are not dealt with by this other body, then that sort of case ends up back in the chain of command for the commander, the unit commander, to reconcile. And we really haven't accomplished anything. It's not outside the chain of command. So we need to look at this very closely and see what are we trying to accomplish by taking it outside the chain. Have we accomplished that, and are we moving ahead? And these are the questions that we, the service chiefs, are asking in this particular case.
Great. Sir, I have just one more question for you. What would you say to sailors who argue that too much emphasis is being placed on this issue right now and that they and their shipmates are starting to go a little tone deaf?
I'd say you need to get used to this, because this is a safety matter, and you can't get tone deaf on safety issues and readiness issues. We need to turn the trend on these events, and I would say to them, turn the trend, show us the action, show us tangible change. That's important. It's not about being tone deaf. It's about buckling down and taking on a real challenge for our time.
Admiral, I want to thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us today as part of your Conversation with the Shipmate series.
You're welcome. It was great.
We look forward to our next opportunity to sit down with you during your next fleet engagement, wherever it may be. Thanks again.
Thank you.
This is MC2 Josh Keim in Navy Region Northwest.